Okay, for tonight's homework you are going to be working on the decimal worksheet. It's front and back. And we'll get started right away. One thing that we need to, you need to understand is, let me put number 1 here. Okay, so when you have a decimal, sometimes you're going to have to write it in words, and then other times they're going to give it to you in words and you're going to have to write the decimal. So in numbers 1 through 9, what they're doing is they're giving you the decimal like this, and they're asking you to put it in words. Okay? So this is how we do it. The one thing that's important to remember is whenever you see a decimal, that means that you're going to always insert the word and when you see that decimal when you're writing it out. So if I'm writing this out, 4 and 36, and remember last time we talked about when you have a decimal and you go 2 places to the right of the decimal, the first place is the tenths place and the second place is the hundredths place. And I ran out of room there. But you have a decimal, first place is tenths place, second place is hundredths place. Okay, so if I'm writing this out, I have 4 and I read this number, 4 and 36, and remember the last number is in the hundredths place, so 4 and 36 hundredths. And remember the hundredths is written with a TH S on the end, hundredths. Okay, so I have 4 and 36 hundredths. Okay, so that's the first one. I need an eraser. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 is this. Over here I'll just put T for tenths and H for hundredths. That'll help us remember. Okay, so this one I do the same thing. I'm going to write it in words so I know it's 5. The decimal always means and. 5 and. Now this time I have the 7 and I'm only 1 place past to the right of my decimal, so I know my last number's in the tenths place. So it's 5 and 7 tenths. Okay? So 5 and 7 tenths. Alright, let's look at one more on this section. You have 2 you have this number here, number 3, 2 and, so I'm going to go ahead and just write it like I say it, 2. Remember the decimal means and, 2 and. Now, this time I read the number. The number is 9 here because there's nothing here, so I read 9. And remember, tenths, hundredths. So it's 2 and 9 hundredths. So 2 and 9 hundredths. Okay? So the important part to remember is when you're writing these out, wherever you see a decimal, that will be the word and. That is the whole number. And then just check, if are you 1 place past the decimal, that would be your tenths place. If you're 2 places, that's the hundredths place. And then you just write it that way. Okay? So, the next section is you're doing the opposite. Now, they're giving us the words. So 7 and 53 hundredths. Okay? So 7 and 53 hundredths. So I know I have 7. I know the and means, again, and means decimal. 7 and 53 hundredths. So I know I'm going to have 2 places here because it's in the hundredths place, and then I just put the number in, 53 3. Okay? So again, remember 7 and, whenever you see the word and, you know there's a decimal. And then 53 hundredths. So if it helps you, you can just go ahead and put, well, I know it's going to be 2 places past the decimal, or go ahead and put that in, and then I can write my number in, 53. Alright, let's look at one more of those. 12 and 6/10. Okay, so 12 and 6/10. So I know I'm only going one place here, tenths, and I write the decimal. Okay? On the back, you're using the table to the right. Everything on the table is out of 100. You'll see. You have corn, peas, carrots, broccoli, green beans, and other. So number 22 says, what part of the people chose carrots as their favorite? Okay, so if you look at the chart on your worksheet here, what part chose carrots as their favorite? So if you look at that, there are 16, and since it's out of 100, we're going to write that as a decimal. So we would write 16 hundredths, because everything in the chart is out of 100. Okay, so that's how I got 16 hundredths. Okay, so you should be able to do that that part on your own. That's 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. And then the last part that you have to work on is your shading in the model so that it shows the given decimal. So 27, it's out of 100, so they want you to shade in 85 hundredths, so you would shade in 85 of those. The next one is 6/10, so you would shade in 6 of the tenths. And you would just continue that for the rest of those. Okay? So you're just shading in, you're just coloring in the decimal that they give you. Number 29 is 9/10, 30 is 23 hundredths. Okay? Alright, so that's nice homework. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Just remember whenever you're writing the decimal, whenever you see the word and, that means the same thing as the decimal, and vice versa. So that's where you need to, when you're writing it out. And shouldn't have too much trouble in this. So if you need to watch it again, and good luck.